for the agenda.
I'll
Moved by
move it.
Trevor, second by Lyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. And do you want to move to applications, Joanne, and go through what, is there any legal wording that has to be done here?
Yeah, so thank you for that. So it's been a while since we've had a meeting, and it was just before Christmas actually. So thank you all for attending. There's a few things that I just wanted to update you on, because at our last meeting, we talked about some different changes that we should make to the plan, which we'll speak to later, as well as the application process. You may recall that I sent an email to the committee, I believe it was the second week or the first week of February, where I talked about kind of the process and the proposed changes and what would occur. So since then, I've also brought a report to council in a presentation format, looking for direction of council. And in that presentation, we included all of your comments. Not to review all the comments, but as committee members, you're going to remember that you had some concerns with the timing of the applications and how we were, accepting them. Some people wanted to see some of the programs increase. We also wanted testimonials, and I think you were very strong on that towards after a project is complete. So I included all of your comments and brought them forward to council, and also received their recommendations. So the one thing that has changed, because I won't go into those details yet, is that council was clearly directed staff that they no longer wanted to have deadlines, that they wanted to have a constant intake. And with that then, with the requirement for a complete application, I'll just jump into that quickly. Those requirements have not changed as of yet. As you're aware, and we do have a couple of you that have been successful, or one of you that's been a successful applicant as our committee members. So really you have to make sure your taxes are paid in full, you have no outstanding work orders or building permits. And then of course you have to obtain the 2 individual quotes, be clear with what your application request is, and submit that to the committee. I'm then going to turn it over to Megan. So Megan's been new with our municipality as our acting economic development officer since I believe the 3rd week of January. Is that correct, Megan?
Yeah.
So she's getting very familiar with our CIP process, not only because she's gone through this round, but also because she's working with me in preparing changes to the document. So Megan's been responsible for now promoting that, promoting the CIP now that council has removed the deadlines. So I'll let you speak to the community interest in who you've been talking to these days.
All right. So we've had a lot of community interest, regardless of the difficult times that we're currently in with COVID. As you can see, we have 2 applications on the agenda tonight. We have talked to businesses such as Elco Electric over in Martintown. So we're going to be discussing some new signage there. Upper Canada Cidery in Glen Walter. We just received some of the final documents for the trading posts. So if you notice them downtown Lancaster, they have painted their exterior and put up their signage. So that's from a past, that's from 2019. The Martintown Diner was included, but unfortunately suffered that fire a couple of weeks ago. We have McDonald's Grocers. They own a rental property in downtown Williamstown, so they might be looking to put an application forward. Rob McIntosh, Andrew Beard might look to push forward this maybe in the next round. We have Anne Lalonde, who's out in Green Valley. She might be looking to improve the exterior. She's on a corner lot. We have Skinny Birch Pie Company, which is new to Lancaster. So they just moved into Rob McIntosh's building, into the old schoolhouse close to the overpass. So they might be looking for some signage and landscaping. And then we have Shilda Barber over in Glen Walter, who's looking to do some exterior facade work and landscaping. So there has been a lot of discussion. Today we have the 2 applications, as I mentioned, on the agenda, but there's been a lot of good talks, and hopefully we can see more of these projects move forward, even with COVID going on.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Megan and Joanne. I guess we can jump right into our individual applications for review and recommendation, and I guess for the committee's input. We'll start with Bonnie and Andrew Katna, Jack's Pub. There's
Sam?
four separate.
Sam, can I just stop you there? Joanne, there was never any request. Is there any conflict of interest? The questions that we are supposed to ask. Sorry, Sam, not.
No. I'm
just to
looking at
ask
the
if there is.
agenda.
I don't think there is, but it's. Sorry.
Sorry, any conflict of interest with anybody on the committee? Not seeing none. We'll move forward to Bonnie and Andrew Katna, Jack's Pub. Thanks, Lyle, for catching that. So they have 4 different projects on the docket for this evening, and I guess we'll go through them on a case-by-case individual by project. So I don't know would Megan like to speak to that?
Yeah,
have you been in
absolutely.
direct contact with them? That would be nice.
Definitely.
We'll start with the first one, I guess, which would be.
We'll start with the front.
I guess we might. Yeah, the front facade.
Yeah. So I think it's best to do it in order as per the breakdown that I sent you. So program 2 is building improvement, and it's the front facade. So they're looking to restore the front. They're looking to remove all of the existing siding and change it to a product that is essentially more maintenance free and kind of gives that old Western feel. If you look towards the back, they did a quick sketch too to kind of show an idea of what they're looking to do. So they'd be replacing the stucco and stone with James Hardie fiber cement siding and reclaimed barn board with new trim along the windows and the doors. So they're really looking for that kind of fresh, clean appeal, lower the maintenance on the building. And we're not there yet, but 2 down, they'll also be looking to do the signage with gooseneck lighting to kind of pull everything together. They received, so I broke it down in different sections. So if we look towards the contractor quotes, the first quote listed is from Brown Custom Carpentry. They came in at $68.48 and 80 cents before tax. And then there's Robert Grant Timber Frame and General Construction, who came in at $6,288 plus HST. So I highlighted the second quote as it is the lowest, and 50% of that would make them, they're requesting $3,144. The max on this, the maximum grant on this is $5,000. So they are coming in under the limit. Is there anything else right now for that you?
I think we'll go to questions from the committee if there's anyone there that has any questions or comments.
Okay.
I'm not seeing any hands up. If there's anybody who wants to just raise their hand. Joanne, are you putting your hand up?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't use the right feature. The one thing I wanted to just speak to the committee, because I know this has come up in the past, and we, as you can see, people are eligible to apply for funding for both the front facade and the secondary facade, which is exactly what Jack's Pub application is. When you read the plan, the intent of the plan was to really include corner lots, because when it's a corner lot, the side is entirely visible. But to be fair to applicants, because it's not perfectly clear in the plan, we felt it was still best to include this request and speak to the committee about this to make sure that they're comfortable in funding that, because this side is very visible. As you know, it's also the parking side where everybody, you know, uses or walks by to get into the main entrance. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention in case that was something that you had recalled from previous applications and were wondering about that secondary component.
And I'll just read the wording on that too. So it's under the building improvement grant. So it's a maximum of $2,500 for a secondary facade visible from the street to a total maximum facade improvement grant of $7,500.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that you brought that forward, Joanne, because it is an important part, and I know it will be in our next meeting's review, which we can get into later on tonight in direct concern to that. But personally, I know personally, from my opinion, I don't see an issue with the secondary facade. But I guess starting with the first one, do we have any questions at this point? Lyle, no. Barbara, I'm getting a no.
No.
Linda's no. Okay, so do we want to move to approve the first application? Moved by Trevor.
I'll second it.
Second by Allison.
Linda?
Or Linda, sorry. Linda Allison. Linda.
Make sure you spell Allison correct.
Yes,
Yes.
I've learned my lesson.
Moved by Trevor, second by Linda. All in favor of passing the first application by Jack's Pub
Without, it's as presented.
as presented. As presented. Carried. And we'll move to the second application, which Megan, which would you like to start with? It would be the commercial signage.
We'll go to the secondary facade, as I think we just covered it off with Joe, and it's second in my list.
Yeah.
So the secondary facade, so again, we just explained why they put an application forward, because it is visible from the street. So they're looking at replacing the siding essentially with the same siding that they'd be putting on the front. They will continue it along the building. They have invested a significant amount of money to build a patio out the back. And again, they are, as you're coming in, you can clearly see that side of the building. And they'll also be looking to do some landscaping along that too, which is the fourth application from them that we will be reviewing. So again, looking to remove or to move to a more low maintenance product. It'll also be the James Hardy fiber siding. They're going for that Western rustic clean look. And I think that's all there.
Excellent.
I apologize for jumping the gun on that, because being it fell under program 2, I was thinking it was going to be one motion for both. So I apologize if I can.
No problem, Joanne. We had to bring it up at some
Yeah.
point. It had to come up, so that's no problem. I guess any questions from the committee in regards to this application for the
I'll go
secondary
through
facade?
the quotes too, actually. Sorry.
Oh, yes,
so Brown
please.
Custom Carpentry came in at $2,902 plus tax. And then Robert Grant, Timber Frame and General Construction, so same as the first one. They came in with the lower quote at $2,825 plus tax. So the suggested grant that they'd be looking to apply for is $1,412.
Any questions, I guess, from the committee on the secondary facade? No, not seeing none. Can I get a move to approve, or move to approve by Lyle, second by Ron? All in favor of moving the secondary facade? Carried. Carried. Good. Carried. Thank you. And the next one
Is the signage.
is the commercial signage. Megan.
So the owners are looking to remove the existing signage and replace it with an all aluminum black pin mounted sign with gooseneck lighting on the exterior. So I did confirm that exterior lighting is included in the signage option. If you take a look at the photos, you'll see kind of a mock-up of what the signage is planned to look like on the exterior, and it'll actually be mounted to the building this time. And they did check with the county, they don't need a permit for that. So they got
Excellent.
two quotes. Their quotes are a little bit different because the electrical is broken down separately in one. So I hope that was kind of clear in how I broke it down in the construction estimate. So the first one's with Days Reliable Signs and CIPAC Electric. So it's $2,160 for the sign, plus $1,200 for the electrical, for a total of $3,360 plus tax. The other quote is Easy Digit Signs, and then Brown Custom Carpentry would actually be doing the electrical installation, so the gooseneck lighting. So their signage came in at $1,555.30, plus an additional $1,521.98 for the installation of it, for a total of $3,077.28 plus tax. So the suggested grant amount comes down to $1,538.64.
I have a question.
Just to be
for
clear,
clarification.
Megan, that there's I was just going to say, so just to be clear, Megan, there's 4 estimates, I believe, and it's 2 electricians and 2 signs, correct?
Yeah, and so the one, I just noticed this now, I don't know If KMAC, I believe KMAC quoted the installation of Dave's reliable signs, and Brown Custom Carpentry was with Easy Digits, but Brown is slightly lower or higher, sorry, than KMAC. Joanne, do you have any?
I have a
Thank
question.
you. Lyle, would you like to speak to that?
Yeah, I would. Joanne, I'm pretty sure that the lower amount of the two would be the grant number, correct? Whether they choose KMAC or Brown or Dave's Reliable and the other guy, the grant, the highest amount that we will grant is the lowest amount of both quotes, correct?
Correct.
So
If we combine the two cheapest quotes for electric and the two cheapest quotes for the lighting, and at that price, we will be then giving them 50% of that, correct?
But to be fair, I don't disagree how Megan has presented this, simply because Dave's chose to partner with one electrician, Brown chose to partner with a different sign company. So that's the individual packages. So you're right, Mr. Warden, you're funding the lowest portion anyway. But I think it's okay to combine them in this case.
Oh, absolutely. I think it presents really well, but if they decide to go with, we can only grant them the lower of the two quotes.
Correct. So the agreement would state the lowest dollar amount.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions from the committee? Not seeing none. Would we like to move to approve? I could take a
I'll move to approve.
Moved by Lyle, second by Ron. And all in favor of approving Jack's Pub, the third application. And I'm just missing one hand. Carried.
Okay.
And Megan, if you want to take it away on the last one for Jack's Pub.
Absolutely. All right, so now we're looking again towards the secondary facade. So they're looking to, this is landscaping, sorry, so under program 4, they're looking to build a wooden retaining wall along the west side of the parking lot. So again, that falls on the side that you'd see from the street. They plan on replacing the existing retaining wall, which is visible from the street, and they included a photo of that retaining wall. They're building a wooden fence enclosure around the outdoor garbage, recycling, and grease containers to make it visibly more appealing. And they'll also look to install 4 6x6 window planters. So 2 of these are going on the front facade and 2 of them on the side. So we're not capped out at the max, but that's their plan there with the landscaping. So the total ask for the secondary facade, the first one's Brown Custom Carpentry, $3,954.32 plus tax. And the second one was Robert Grant, Timber Framing General Construction at $4,066 plus tax. Brown came in cheaper with a suggested grant amount of $1,977.16.
Perfect. Any questions from the committee?
Competitive quotes out in Williamstown.
Yeah.
I guess so.
I'll move to approve if there's no discussion.
No discussion. Move to approve by Lyle, second by Trevor. All in favor of moving Jack's Pub, the 4th application? Carried.
That's great.
Excellent. So I guess on the agenda, we'll move to the second request, which is Lori Harden at Lancaster Massage Therapy. Megan, if you want to speak to that, and then see if Joanne has some comments as well.
I'm okay to move on to the next one, Joe?
Yeah, perfect. Thanks.
All right. So we're looking at Lancaster Massage Therapy. We know them as our neighbors over on Oak Street at the township office. So they have previously went through the CIP program before, and you will see that in their application, and they have received funding for their front facade. So they're looking at doing their secondary facade. It's important to note, and I did include this at the bottom, applications for both facades must be filed simultaneously unless the front facade was completed at an earlier date and is acceptable to the CIPAC committee. The front facade of this building did previously go through CIP. So they painted they redid the siding blue, if you guys can kind of picture it, right? And they just recently painted the brick to match the blue. So I included one photo. I ran over there just because the picture she had taken before didn't show the new blue siding, so you can see the difference now. And they're looking to match the garage to that. So I included, just gonna see what the easiest way, just because there's a couple different quotes on this one to make it clear. So we'll start with the siding quote. So I included a picture just of the swatch of the siding that they'd be looking to replace it to. So it's a blue that would match the front of the building to kind of tie it all together. So we received different quotes, and I broke it down a little bit differently, even though it's going under the one grant, just to make it clear. The first quote came from Emard Lumber for $351.30. The second quote came from Perkins Rona at $353.04. So it's really tight on this one. So the recommended or the suggested grant for the siding portion only is $175.65. Now, I'll move on to the next one, Sam, just because they all technically fall in. It's just that there's 3 quotes, and I just broke it down for ease of knowing.
Yep, absolutely, no problem.
Okay, so the next one is just for the Soffit and Facia. So the first quote came from Emard Lumber at $823.05, plus tax. Perkins Rona came in at $1,016.59. $1,016.59 plus tax. So the suggested grant is $411.52. And then the last one is a replacement of the garage doors. So the garage doors are banged up and discolored, and they've been there for quite some time. So they're looking to replace that to have that clean, fresh look. So they received 2 different quotes. So the first one's from Emard. So the purchase of the doors, and then Scott Flaro would be doing the installation. So the total is $2,060 plus taxes. The second quote came from Cornwall Door Systems at $2,218 plus tax. So the recommended grant there would be $1,030. Any questions?
Perfect. Any questions from the committee, or Joanne, do you have any comments before I go to the committee? No. Any questions from the committee?
Great.
No.
Not hearing any. Would anybody like to move to approve? Moved by Trevor, second by Lyle. All in favor of moving the front or the secondary facade for Lancaster Massage Therapy. So that's all the garage doors, the siding, and the fascia. All in favor? Carried.
Okay. And then the second part of their application was the landscaping portion. So they're looking at repaving a portion of their driveway, and I'm hoping if you take a look, I kind of included some different pictures. So they had interlocking stone previously that led up to their client entrance, and then they have a concrete pad that they're looking to remove. So I was actually, so it's very uneven, it's different colors. I was out there in heels kind of taking pictures, and I actually took myself. So it is a little bit of a public risk as well, and a liability issue, and aesthetically it's not pleasing to the eye. So at this time, they're looking to remove that concrete pad and pave that portion along with the patio stones, but not the full amount that leads up to the garage. So if you take a look on the sketch, I highlighted in red the area that they are looking to have paved versus the existing paved section that exists currently. So it wouldn't be the entire driveway, but it would be a portion of it, and it would help make it look more aesthetically pleasing. So they received 2 quotes. These numbers are dramatically different. Malian's came in at $3,875 plus tax, and Levac Paving came in at $9,500 plus tax. So the suggested grant is $1,937.50.
Joanne, do you have anything to add before I go to the committee?
No, thank you.
Is there anybody on the committee who has any comments to make or any questions in regards to this application for the paving? Hearing none, can I get a mover to approve for the Malian quote? I believe it was $1,000. Moved by Ron, second by Lyle. All in favor? Carried. And I guess we'll go back to the agenda here, and our next is essentially we'll be looking at our next meeting. But Joanne and Megan, would you like to speak to the CIP updates? And that meeting will be 2 Mondays from now, I believe, July 20th.
Yeah, July 20th. And I sent the link to register for that if you're interested in attending in the email today.
So in the committee will recall some of the changes that we had discussed. And as I mentioned to you, I had gone to council with a presentation looking for their feedback and direction so that when we redraft the CIP document, we're capturing the goals of council and the goals of the committee. Not every change that everyone discussed may be incorporated, but one thing that was a common comment was you would like to see more dollars become available for accessibility for existing structures throughout our community. And it is proposed to increase from the $5,000 to the $10,000. There was also a strong recommendation to ensure that the proposed accessible standards obviously meet the Ontario Building Code and the Ontarians with Accessibility Act, especially with parking lots. And again, that's just to be able to improve commercial spaces in our community. A few other changes that you're going to see in the proposed document are the elimination of phases. In the past, our document that was approved was a plan that was between 2018 and 2024, with the first 2 years being our main urban settlement areas such as Lancaster, Martintown, Williamstown, Green Valley, then moving into the secondary areas, which we'd be currently in. And those secondary areas would bring in areas like Baynesville, Glen Norman, North Lancaster. And then the last phase was for the interior components. So the new document will eliminate phases. It will allow people to access the dollars at any time. There's also a few changes in terms of providing clarification and consistency throughout the document. One of the clarifications that we briefly mentioned would be speaking about secondary facades, making sure that the sides front on a corner lot or even if it's a backside, backs onto the backs onto a street or a public space. We also have different clarifications on terminology. We've updated the plan to the 2020 provincial policy statement. We've updated the plan to include the 2018 official plan. So for the general public, a lot of it is kind of more housekeeping, not necessarily significant changes. But with Megan sending you out the invite today, we would encourage you to listen into our public meeting on July 20th if you wish. It's at 6:30 p.m. And at that meeting, I'll have a more formal presentation to council. And for those of you who wish to participate by Zoom, you'll have an opportunity to actually see my presentation on the screen that will outline kind of the highlights of the changes of the plan. In terms of the actual application process and how we market it, that is not going to change, except with our communications coordinator, our staff member, Megan Roberts. We're going to utilize her to really work on creating those testimonials, because now that we've gone through a few funding cycles, we've actually had an opportunity to release dollars for the people who successfully completed their agreements. And it's nice now that we can work with them and get those testimonials. So I know that was something that our committee was very interested in, and we'll be working with our communications officer regarding that.
And that was with a completed application coming in shortly, we might be able to have a testimonial over the next few weeks to help promote the program.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Excellent.
yes, we have a few now we can speak to, so that's good.
Good. Any questions from the committee? I'm seeing Ron and then Lyle. Ron and then Lyle, please. Take it away, Ron.
I do have not really a question, but more of a concern, critique. If we're going to have video testimonials, can we somehow get them a wireless microphone it really cleans up and it really adds to the testimonial versus an iPhone microphone. It's just my background, and I see these things. It really lowers the quality of the video when you hear a transport truck whipping by.
I
We'll see
agree.
what we can do.
Agree. We can
borrow it?
definitely look into that.
Okay.
Lyle?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank staff for their work on this file. Joanne, my email was quite lengthy when you sent out
Good.
and sent out the email asking for feedback. I think this CIP has been a huge success in our municipality. I only wish more businesses would apply. I think that the changes that are being proposed, I think, are going to ensure that we are going to be running out of funds in our yearly budget. And Sam as well, along with myself, really championed getting the accessibility as a forefront, because 2025 is just around the corner. I mean, you might as well wipe 2020 off the map. So here we are 4 years out for that. So I think the residents are really going to benefit from it. And I'm looking forward to the presentation on the 20th of July. Thank you.
And Lyle, sorry, to that point too, we can make sure that we promote those changes that will be coming up in 2025 and encouraging businesses to look into the accessibility portion too. We can do that through communications.
I think would be prudent of us, because we can't, I don't want local businesses coming to us and saying, well, why didn't you tell us? Yeah. They're not going to be able to do that, because I feel we're on top of it. Staff has been on top of it from the get-go in the CIP. And I think it's actually a great kind of, it's the perfect program to push and encourage accessibility. I think we're all pretty fortunate in this group that we don't have issues, but be tied to a wheelchair for a couple of days and just see how limiting your world would become. So perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Thanks for the comments, Lyle. Anybody else? Trevor, Barbara, Linda? I know we can't see you quite, but are there any other comments or questions?
Wrapped up for the meeting, so.
Thanks. No, if I'm not seeing any more comments, I guess, are we moving to adjourn? I lost my agenda here. Just shut off.
Can I just make one more comment, Sam, if you don't
Absolutely.
mind?
Absolutely.
For any
Joanne,
of you who are interested in the proposed changes and are not able to participate at the public meeting on July 20th, Megan or I would be able to email you the draft document, because that will also be going to council for the July 20th agenda. So that's something we could share with you once it's released in the agenda.
Excellent.
So just let us know.
Excellent. I guess before we move to adjourn, I just want to say thank you to staff as well. Megan and Joanne, I know you've worked tirelessly on this, and it's been a lot of work to bring the, I guess, attention to this program. And as Lyle said, the accessibility is going to be a major issue. There's a lot of, the South Glengarry comes to mind, especially. I talked to one individual, Ian McDonald, who's in a wheelchair as well. He loves finding the best restaurant, but he's never been able to eat there until now. So that's been a nice change, I guess, for him with the new patio, but it'd be nice to have him inside in the wintertime. I guess if there's any other comments or any other questions that come to you after this meeting, feel free to forward them to Megan and Joanne for review. And if there's nothing else, hopefully we'll see you on the 20th of July. And if I can get a move to adjourn. Moved by Lyle. I don't know if I need a second or second by Trevor. All in favor of adjourning the meeting? Carried. Joanne, 6:50.
Got
Perfect.
it.
Joanne, could you give me a phone call after?
Sure.
Do you have a chance?
I'm
Won't
good.
be long. Thanks, guys.
Perfect.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you,
Have a good night.
everyone.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Good night.